Its purpose is to provide thought-provoking dialogue with a slighted perspective. Here we encourage influential conversations. Give us a listen, like and share. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to CEO and the Doctor.
Yes, sir. CEO and the Doctor. Damn, we ain't heard that in a
Welcome back.
long time.
Man,
Sure.
wow.
2
A
months?
lot of things been going on, man. A lot of things have been going on. So, welcome to Las Vegas. Well, I'm not Vegas, but you. The move went smooth.
Okay, Pacific Standard Time. Welcome to Pacific Standard Time.
That
on
too.
that now.
I mean,
Yeah.
I never know what time zone it is because we're never in a time zone. Well, Arizona don't change shit. So,
True that.
but yeah, welcome, man. I'm glad, we're on the same time zone. You had a lot of stuff happening all at once. Good to see that life is finally settled a little bit for you. So, listeners, welcome back with us. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute, but like you said, a lot has happened at PCS out here. Finished my last class for my master's, so I'm just waiting on them to send my diploma, transcripts, all that thing. So that's good. Yeah, man. So just the stress of moving, so I had to unbox stuff, looking for stuff that's broken, looking for stuff that's missing. So finally got through that. House is somewhat set up. There's a few other things we got to do, but yeah, it's good to be back on the West Coast. Still trying to get adjusted. This time zone is wild because every day I feel like I'm late, but it's just the time that it is, and haven't been able to really schedule a time to talk to my daughter yet because now I'm 3 hours behind her.
Yeah.
So
Right.
trying to get those schedules together. So yeah, man, it's like I never left in a lot of ways, but it's still kind of brand new too. So
yeah, I'm glad we back up, man. Just been doing my usual, just I've been writing a little bit more, getting all that stuff situated. Trying to finish up the second. Huh?
I said, get that damn mic situated. We got all
that mic just like took off on me, man. Just finishing up the second part to the zero theory, mostly about investing and stuff now. So, which speaking of investing, the market's been wet in the bed of late. That's neither here nor there. So here we are, folks.
Total trash.
CEO and the Doctor. We are back, and this is gonna be a pretty intense show. Where you want to start, man? Start with the usual, the Flash.
It's been so long, man. Shit, yeah. Let's cue up what we do, man. So,
all right.
Start with the. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Flash, man. So, you got a few interesting topics we want to talk about. I'll let you lead, and we'll get to it.
All right. So, over the last month, man, we've had, and including today, we've had 3 mass shootings. Major ones. First one was in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, at King Super's supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. 10 people were killed, including the on-duty police officer. The motive, they think this guy was a little, messed up in the head, and ultimately he got access to a gun because, we don't have restrictive gun laws in this country. It's just my opinion. It shouldn't. The ease of getting a gun in this country is absolutely ridiculous. There he is on the screen. It's too easy to get guns in this country, and something needs to be done about it. So I mean, these people were just.
They had just something about the law had just been like repealed or something. And
really,
he I think I can't remember. I'm gonna screw that up, but some kind of way he was able to strike right as the law was being changed. Because there was protections in place, but then there's other, number twos out there and stuff like that says,
Yeah.
he would have been able to get it anyway because he passed the background check, whatever, yada yada yada. But I guess his gun was actually classed as a pistol. There's all kind of stuff that I was reading.
Yeah.
I don't want to misquote
Wow.
anything, man. But moral of the story
Yeah,
is,
a Ruger.
look, here he is. Like, he's able to sit and quote unquote have a day in court. Same thing with the other buddy down in Atlanta, that
Yeah.
shot the Asian spas. He also gets to sit and have a day in court. And we've talked about this before. It's not that we're sitting here trying to say, it should be guns ablazing, wild, wild west in these situations. But what's hard to understand is how they always walk away upright. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always going to be something. It's something of a head scratcher when there are real life situations where people are absolutely, fearing for their life. There's chaos, there's corruption, there's a whole bunch of everything, and they're always able to apprehend these guys. Like,
Somehow, yeah.
yeah,
Somehow these guys walk away.
I mean, and
know?
yet we see, number of minorities slain.
Yeah.
When the situation is not even close to being the same.
George
they're
Floyd
just altercation, and then it ends in death.
killed, no weapon. Breonna Taylor killed, was not armed. The kid in Colorado, I forget the name, unarmed, dead. The guy in New Jersey, unarmed, dead. It's ridiculous. It's the whole narrative that I feared for my life. How can you be a cop? You obviously didn't fear for your life in these cases with these white guys having these weapons because they walked away scot-free after killing multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
here's our guy.
I think back to a time when it wasn't. You tell me if I'm wrong. This stuff used to happen, and the cops would respond, and they would downplay how they responded, why they responded the way that they did, why the outcome was the way it was. Now, it's like they don't give a damn. It's like, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's starting to, man. We were talking about this when we first started way back in 2017, all the way up now, and with everything that happened last summer, you never want to say something is forgotten because it definitely wasn't forgotten. But this kind of became like the back burner, like mass shootings and those type of things. But then, here it is right back in our face as 2020 is, kind of, going behind us now, and we're trying to move forward, and this stuff is right back up. And it makes you think, like, how much of this stuff is connected. I don't want to sit here and start trying to create my own, mystery puzzle, but I'm saying how many people are still, upset about how the election went down, that, Trump did not win this time around.
Countless.
How many individuals are still caught up on what happened at the nation's capital, and they don't feel like, they did enough. Like, I'm throwing things out there, but, say that people are not thinking like that. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, we're, in the main discussion, we're going to talk about a little bit of that, how that's just a symptom of the larger problem, like the title of this show. The status quo is uncomfortable. And I truly believe a lot of that has fed into what we are seeing. And this has been an ongoing problem. It's just like, status quo wasn't uncomfortable. It didn't just happen. They've been uncomfortable because the landscape of this country is changing. Now, like I said, we're going to touch on that later on in the show. But we've had this situation happen in Colorado, and then the one in Atlanta.
Yep.
8. This guy was able to get a gun the same day he gets his gun. He goes and he kills. He goes to 3 different spas and kills 8 different people. And the excuse, I'm sure everybody's seen the footage from the sheriff spokesman. This man is talking about the guy was having a bad day.
Bro, that was the worst.
Yeah. It was a bad day for him, so he killed 8 people. I mean, when you can downplay it, normalize it, and completely gloss over the victims, what does that say about you? You know, what does that say about the landscape of this country when um, people can be killed? I mean, we can look at this in the larger aspect of these mass shootings. When we value guns more than we value lives, there's something inherently wrong with this country, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of how things are, because we've talked about this before, where people actually care about their animals more than humans, you know.
Yeah,
And so in a situation like you just said, it's wild to think, but you know, a lot of people will stand up and fight, you know, to the end when it comes to gun laws. And they
yeah,
always say, well, it's not the gun, it's the person. Yet the person used the gun as a weapon. So in my opinion, it's hand in hand. Like,
yeah.
you know,
You can't have one without the other.
yeah, and who am I? You know, I don't own not one weapon, and I've
Yeah,
said this a bunch of times. If I ever were to get one, and maybe I'm being naive, it wouldn't be for home protection. It would be for recreation, to go out, shoot. You know, it's
right.
it's something to do.
Yeah,
However, you know, when you think about the type of weapons that are out there, you know, like no one needs to walk around with, in my opinion, military grade weaponry,
oh,
especially
hell
if
no.
you have not been in the military. And I'm not saying you can't learn to shoot it. You could probably shoot better than people that are in the military. But I'm saying, like, that's what we use that for. Like, at what
Yeah,
point other than, you know, going to fight enemies do you need some of the weaponry that, you know, we have, you know, like,
yeah,
sure, assault
no doubt.
rifle or whatever, that's, but I mean, some of this other shit, people are getting really high tech with how they,
Hmm.
you know, upgrade their weapon. And I'm like, what are you guys preparing for? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I get into it. I'm like, man, it's a little bit more than just saying somebody can't have a weapon. But then it's
right.
like you got a weapon, and then you're creating Call of Duty specs with the weapon. And what are
Yeah,
you doing
you got
in that video game?
scopes and,
Shooting shit
yeah,
up. You know,
magazines, and
it's wild.
you got a cache of ammo that's insane. You know, and I haven't carried one for all the years that I was a cop in the Air Force. I have no desire to carry a gun, to have a gun. You know, I believe me, I've thought about it. But it's too. I know my limitations. First of all, let me put that out there. I know my limitations. If I'm in traffic and I got my, I might, and I
Oh,
don't even
shit.
want to put myself in that situation. I'm not gonna go on no mass shooting spree, nothing like that. But I don't know, man. I just don't want the temptation. I don't want the availability of it. I don't want the possibility of it. Okay. I think a lot of this has to do with self-awareness. All right.
Right.
I agree with you. If you're gonna get a gun, you get it for recreational purposes. If hunting is your thing, you go hunt with your gun. You do your thing. But to have one, for and have the ability to go and take lives, uh, because of, in his case, this guy in Atlanta's case, he's a sex addict, so he wanted to rid himself of the possibility of uh, sexual temptation. So he goes and shoots up all of these massage parlors and kills all these people, which is completely asinine. And somehow in this country, that's a believable excuse. I just want to see how that flows in the court.
And yeah, he was having a bad day. That's what's wild about it. Because like you said, man, like, you know, I don't know if you, a lot of times, I mean, this is why, you know, people that speak often, presidents and, you know, senators, all that, they usually have somebody that writes up their, you know, their speech or writes up their
Right.
quote. And you could tell when people, i.e. cops or
Somebody
whoever,
from public affairs.
yeah, that are not ready to speak and they're asked to give, you know, a statement, they say something like that. And I'm sure, and I'm not gonna, you know, completely, you know, crush the cop, but I'm sure his mind was not clear in what he's speaking. I'm gonna give him a benefit of the doubt. That's something I rarely do in these situations. But there's no way, you know, that was his first thought. I hope not, that he was just having
Yeah.
a bad day. Like, if you can rationalize it like that, then you're definitely not thinking about the actual absolute, you know, truth of what happened. Fuck him
Hmm.
having a bad day. You know, I have a bad day shit once a week. I hate every
Exactly.
Monday. You know, I'm blessed to
Yeah.
get it. I hate every Monday. that gives me no fucking right or reason or rhyme or anything to go out and do something as vile as what he did. So you cannot just sum it up with, oh, he was having a bad day. So again,
Man,
you know,
hit the gym and work that shit out or something. It's absolutely crazy to think that this man went and killed all these people.
Hold on.
Because
we had some technical difficulties. Hold up. Okay, you there, P?
Yep, I'm here. Yeah, and I can see you too now.